whole festival is the hero's journey. Was anybody aware of that? Please help me. Thank you very much, Mike. Saved me again. Okay, well it is, and hands up, make some noise if you're familiar with the thing called the myth of the hero's journey. Make some noise.
Yeah, because we were just talking about it. Thanks, bro.
That's what they call warming up the audience, a pre-warm-up. Yeah. Get on your side early. So the hero's journey is, there was a guy called Joseph Campbell, who's known as the world's greatest mythologist, who went around the world visiting all the various cultures and societies and indigenous tribes, collecting all of their myths, fairy tales and legends from all the different cultures. And he collected literally thousands, and going through all these different myths and legends, he noticed that in one form or another, they were all telling the same basic story. There was one narrative that ran through all of these stories. And he called it the hero with 1,000 faces. In other words, in all these stories of myths and legends, there was a hero or a heroine, but actually it was the same one, or they were certainly on the same journey. And it's known as the Monomyth. So it's the ultimate, the one myth within which all other... that's an interesting thing going on there. We'll come back to that. There's another cat. Good stuff. I won't make any jokes about that at all. He called it the Monomyth, and it's the myth of the mother of all myths. And he worked with Carl Jung, and Carl Jung noticed the same thing, in a way, that he'd basically listened to more dreams than anybody else. We all know how boring it is listening to other people's dreams. So he listened to thousands of dreams. Isn't it boring listening to other dreams? No. Because it's like, we're like this, and it was a mad, crazy dream. But he listened to all these dreams, and he noticed, again, no matter where the people were from, the same theme, same archetype, the type of things as, a snake chasing me, or things like that, in dreams. And that gave birth to the theory of the archetype. So that there are basically psychological ways of seeing embedded into us, the structure of how we see, our seeing apparatus. So our brains and perceptions have to have some structure, and those really deep structures are what we call archetypes, which is why wherever you go in the world, everybody knows the archetype innocent, warrior, mother. There are certain archetypes everybody everywhere knows. And it's the same with the hero's journey. Everybody everywhere experiences the hero's journey because it is basically the psychological pattern of human development. So if you're an infant and you become an adult and you become an elder, you will go through the hero's journey. So the hero's journey was just basically how the elders from basically 60,000 to 200,000 years have taught the children what it means to be a human being and live. It's like, these are the sort of challenges you go through. You will experience fear, and you'll have to rise to meet that fear, face the challenge. You'll have to learn how to make connections and relationships. You'll have to learn skills and abilities. You'll have to face your shadow and your fear, the dragon. You'll have to lose, fail, and die. And you'll have to take a leap of faith. And through that surrender and the leap of faith, find your true treasure of self-knowledge. And then you'll have to battle your way back to bring that treasure of self-knowledge that you now are back to your community that you left in the first place, because a hero is only a hero when he takes the gift back to his community. Thank you very much. Round of applause. That was just off the top of my head and I got it right. That's basically how it works. Because sometimes I try to rehearse stuff, and sometimes I think, no, just say what you know. And sometimes it doesn't work. And I'm talking for 3 hours and everyone's going, what's he talking about? But sometimes it comes out all right. So that one came out all right. So that's the hero. Does everyone know what the hero's journey is now?
Yes.
Great. And why is this important? It's important particularly in these times in we're living because of the difficult to look at fact of our existence in 21st century planet Earth is that our culture, our dominant culture, which could be called dominator culture, is busy trashing our support system and also trashing our species in terms of what children all over the world are subjected to, and what women all over the world are subjected to, and what men all over the world are subjected to. If it continues even half as bad as it is now, we will eventually become extinct. So we're facing the greatest mass extinction since the dinosaurs. Our own species has about 12 different things that could knock us out, from the lack of fresh water to topsoil to the poisoning of the air, land and sea. And I don't even have to talk about climate change. It's really funny, I don't really talk about climate change because you don't need to, because there are a dozen other things just as bad that no one ever talks about since everyone started talking about climate change. But anyway, so we're facing that moment in evolution that all species face: evolve or die. And that's why the hero's journey is so important at this time, because given that choice, we've seen before that species tend to evolve and die. For example, some of the smarter dinosaurs evolved into birds and are still around today as cuckoos. That one I wrote down. I was thinking about that one before. Because I always use the dinosaurs evolving into birds to describe to me what my optimistic vision of things is that however bad it looks, it couldn't be as bad as an asteroid coming to hit the planet and kill everyone. But some dinosaurs were ahead of the game, they saw what was coming. Right, I'm getting up there, man. Now that might sound ridiculous, but Rupert Sheldrake, everyone heard of Rupert Sheldrake? Talks about morphogenetic fields, and has a parallel theory to evolution along with Darwin that has a whole different mechanism, which is memory. As we find that organisms pass on things in a way that can't only be explained by the Darwinian model, and Sheldrake's theory is that it's through morphogenetic fields, and that when a creature performs an action enough times, it's stored in its cells energetically and passed on to its young, so when I make the joke that the dinosaurs decided to fly, it might not have been that conscious a decision, but there would have been an impulse to start behaving in a different way, to start living differently, and that would lead to actions which, possibly through random mutation, but possibly through morphogenesis, created wings and blah, blah, blah. I'm probably going on too much about this anyway. The main point is that in a situation of evolve or die, we have a power that we sometimes use and sometimes don't, which could be called conscious growth, or living on purpose, or conscious evolution, but deliberately expanding yourself, deliberately becoming more. So deliberately becoming more emotionally intelligent. It's possible to become deliberately more emotionally intelligent. It's possible to become deliberately more spontaneous and creative. It's possible to become more of all of those things. And anybody that's involved in doing that as their work or their thing or their practice will know that you can get better at these things. So when you actually decide, I'm going to evolve, I'm going to grow, I'm going to become more of what I am, I'm going to become a different version of what I am, you could call that conscious evolution, or taking your hero's journey. Because that's basically what the hero's journey is. It's going out, facing the challenges of life, and finding your larger self, let's say, finding more of yourself, and then doing it again, and then doing it again. So this is the thing about the hero's journey. It describes the whole human life, but it actually describes any challenge or new situation that you face. Whenever you move into a new situation, it might be moving house, moving job, having a baby, getting married. All of these things in themselves can be seen as a hero's journey. Does that make sense? So it's a really practical thing. We're not just talking about myths and global consciousness events. We're talking about in everyday life, whether you know it or not, your life is asking you, as part of the process of development, because we've got physical development, babies physically develop into adults, and we've got mental and emotional development, babies, hopefully, not all of us, emotionally develop into adults and mentally. So we have this development going on all the time, and as part of that development, life asks us at those stages, there's various stages of development. You know the whole thing about, for example, terrible twos. People talk, when children reach that kind of age and they start saying no to everything, no. Scientists know that that's the development of the ego and the development of the self-identified form, and the child has to learn its limits, what it is and what it isn't and all that sort of thing. So that's the terrible twos. There's a good one at age 7 and 6. We're able to truly empathize. Before the age of 6, we're not able to truly put ourselves in other people's shoes. if you show a child of under 6 a book with a red cover and a blue cover, and you show the blue cover to the child and say, what colour am I seeing? The child will say blue. They can't put themselves in your position to see red. After the age of about 6 or 7, the child will say red. And there's lots of developmental stages that are hardwired. And the hero's journey, leaving home, meeting a mate, finding a career or a job or work, all these things are archetypal. Every human being does them in some way or another. And so built into them is this hero's journey to help you do it well. And if you take the hero's journey consciously, if you face the arc of meeting the challenge, failing, trying again, failing, trying again, failing, trying again, failing over and over again until, oh, I've done it. And then taking that new skill, basically that new skill, back to where you came from and saying, hey, I've got this new skill to contribute to everything. Imagine if everybody did that. Imagine how amazing communities would be if everyone took their hero's journey and developed their skills and developed their abilities and developed themselves and then brought that back into their interrelating with everyone in the community. That's basically the conscious evolution model. It's just that everybody individually takes responsibility for their being in the world and made that being as beautiful, magnificent, capable, generous, loving, wonderful as they can. And so that all of that could then be fed back into the community. Is that a good vision?
Yeah.
Are we into that? Are we kind of into that already? We already knew that and we're just hearing it said in a certain way. Were you feeling that before?
Yeah.
Nice to hear it said.
It's nice to hear it said.
Yeah.
I said it. Yeah, I know it is. So is that good so far? Yeah, just see where to go. Should I do a poem then?
Yes.
Yeah, because I had 2 jobs. One was just to introduce the theme. So the theme's introduced. I think we can say the theme's introduced, isn't it? And the other job is just to entertain you a bit before the next speaker comes in. What? In the middle? Oh no, I haven't learnt it, bro. I know. I know. I knew it. I was like, I've got to do it in the middle.
Even going home.
I'll tell you what. I'll do it on Sunday. I'll take my little spare time and I'll learn it because I'm almost there, and I'll learn it for Sunday. But basically, more than any other poem, I have to be in a mystic state to do it. I can't do it in any other state. That's why I'm not going to try and do it now, because I really have to be in the state to do the poem. Otherwise, it's shit. I'll tell you. I've written this poem that basically, if you don't write it, if you don't say it from a mystic space, it's just boring. Like, because I'm just talking about the middle the whole time. So it's like, yeah. But if you say it from the middle. So that's the plan with that one. I'll try that by Sunday. But no, I'll do another one, which is actually my other mystic poem, which I can do even when I'm in a totally egoic state like I am now. So I'm going to do that one. It's my ego mystic poem. So this is our space, the Cloud of Unknowing, which I love that title. Does anybody know where that title comes from? The Cloud of Unknowing. It's the title of a book written by a monk or a mystic in the 14th century. And my friend had it, and it's basically someone who's transcended the pleasure principle. You know, so we're all kind of in the pleasure principle. We move away from pain and move towards pleasure. Every baby, every human being has that inherently. Move away from pain, move towards pleasure, and that can control our lives. If we look at addiction and all those kind of things. But some people show that it's possible to go beyond that and to treat pleasure and pain completely the same, and just love all of it, basically. To actually love pain and love everything. And they're called mystics. And this particular mystic wrote a book about what he called the Cloud of Unknowing. And it's just basically, it's a complete mystery how I love everything, but I do, kind of thing. And that's basically what the book is. It's like, it's a complete mystery how everything is beautiful and perfect, even the thing I hate the most and is terrible, but it is. I can't explain it. It's the Cloud of Unknowing. So that's what they've called this place, which I think is quite powerful magic. So that sets a nice, so it's that in the middle place. It's the place, we live in the world of opposites. As Heraclitus said, you know, it's the path up the mountain, the path down the mountain are the same one, 2 sides of the same coin. We always forget that opposites are unified, the unity of opposites. One can't exist without the other. You can't have dark without light, you can't have up without down. So they actually come as a pair, and all spiritual systems, what they're really talking about is taking the perspective of the bit that's not this or that, or not here or there, but the bit that's neither here nor there. The neither here nor there. The thing that basically can hold everything and embrace everything and balance everything. And can take all sides and embrace all positions and see all perspectives and not judge or reject anything. Total choiceless, unconditional acceptance of everything. That's the mystical place, the mystical state. This has been named after that. And it's nice to... The world of opposites is the fun world. It's the drama world where you have things you like and things you don't like, and go up, down, no. All the emotion that we love is in the world of opposites, so we're never going to leave it, put it that way, and we should forget about trying. It's totally there for us to play with and experience things, but it's really nice to know that it's not the whole thing. There's somewhere else you can be, basically in every moment. And like when a bicycle wheel turns really quickly, it looks like it's still. It's kind of like that with the world of opposites and the world of the middle, is that it's not about being in the world of the middle all the time, because maybe people can, but there's no point. And it's not about being in the world of the opposites the whole time, because you'll go mad. And we are all going mad. Because, every time you think you need to chill out and relax and you feel relieved, it's because you come out of the world of the opposites, basically, just even for a moment. And in every moment, it's there. In every moment, the middle is there, the thing that is not this or that. It's always there, so we can always pop back to it. And at the workshops I'm going to be doing tomorrow at 10 in the morning, and the other one, we'll have a couple of fun techniques. Really simple tools that you can use to pop out of the world of opposites and just take a break for a little while. So I'm going to do this poem, which is about... in many ways the most important thing in our existence, but the thing that we never think about and never talk about and never notice. And it's also the one thing that can't be destroyed. It's the only thing that doesn't change and can't be destroyed. Any ideas? Maybe one word? Energy. Was that energy? Yeah, good, but not the right answer. I can see why you'd say that. I know according to the second law of thermodynamics it can't be destroyed and created, but it's not a law, it's a theory. there are flaws in it. Okay, it's not a guessing game. It's space. Space, or the analogy is awareness. Space can't be destroyed because there's nothing to destroy. And I know space is not technically a vacuum, but it's the container or the context as opposed to the content. All content, stars, planets, stars, planets, moons, bananas. And then we have that's outer content, and we have our inner content, thoughts, feelings, emotions, the content. But there's always the context. Where is the content being known? What is the container for the content? And out there, it's the universe. It's the space of the universe. Basically, the universe is 99.9999999% nothing, with bits of stuff in it. And we tend to be totally obsessed on the bits of stuff in it and ignore the 99.9%. And it's the same internally. We're obsessed about the 0.0001%, which is our thoughts and our feelings, but the thing that's there all the time, never off, never not there, never changes, is the space of awareness. It's just there. And so this is a poem about that. And when I was in India doing this self-inquiry course, they had a really funny name for this thing that you just space. Their name was the indestructible matrix of pure space, which I thought was a really wonderfully pretentious name for it. So I had to write a poem called that, and this is it. Say, I'm just been relaxing in the indestructible matrix of pure space. It have a very nice taste, like coming face to face with grace. Not over here or over there, but all over the place. So I man can make haste slowly, and the sense of aloneness don't make me feel lonely, because I'm an identity totally phony. Holy moly, there is no me, there is only the indestructible matrix. It's a strangely familiar place. Let's face it, the entire human race is based in it. Bumbleclot if we're not wasting it. What a waste of space. Fancy ignoring the very space that contains us. It's outrageous. And in the case of human evolution, might even be dangerous. There's just too much focus on what might be facing us, and not enough focus on the instantaneous. Indestructible analogous to timeless, infinitely spacious awareness, flawless, peerless, but not special in all fairness, just this unobstructed effortlessness with which we're all blessed. Just rest. How much effort does it take to be aware you're aware? Think carefully before you answer, because the quality of your life is at stake. The indestructible matrix of pure space is closer to you than you are, yet extends beyond the farthest galaxy's farthest star. It coordinates your neurochemistry and it services your car. It is existentially impossible for anything to be on a par. The mental and physical universes support it like our breast supports a bra. And its only philosophical postulate is la 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 la. Indestructible matrix of pure space. See it. So that was obviously a little poem about nothing. Highly underrated nothing. The Taoists used to say it's the hole in the wheel that makes the wheel useful. It's the space between the walls that makes the room. We tend to think it's the walls that makes the room, but it's the space that makes the room. We think it's the tyre that makes the wheel, but it's the hole. It's great, isn't it? Good to think about these things, but it's also good not to think about them and just be. So, what should we do now? You tell me. Another poem. Okay. Is another poem okay? Yeah. Better than you fucking talking about evolution and stuff. Just do the poems and shut up. Okay, can I just do a silly one that's fun and I just love doing? Yeah. It's not connected to anything at all. Okay. So, because I'm wearing this, I always want to do it when I'm wearing this gown because it's my India hippie get-up, new hippie traveller. And when I went travelling in India in 2006, had a fantastic time, amazing experience, love the country. A bit weird about the Indian tourism and the difference between poverty and the Westerners and all that kind of thing.
How long were you there? How long were you there?
7 months. 7 months, but I'd never really been travelling, backpacking, and it was an opportunity, and I was going to try and write my book, and it was fantastic. But yeah, there are issues with it. But travelling around India as a hippie, meeting lots of other hippies travelling around India, I found quite funny. There's rich comedy material in the whole thing about hippies going to India and travelling. So I wanted to write a poem about it, and I wanted it to be paradoxical because my name's Chris Paradox. And so I set the poem to the theme tune of James Bond. So I thought that's a bit paradoxical. Hippies, James Bond, don't normally think about them together. And does everybody know the theme tune to James Bond? So let's have it. Dun 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 dun. Okay, you were trying a little canon there or something. You were going a different side, but that's basically it, yeah. And so the chorus. And there's a bit of audience participation. You up for some audience participation? So the chorus goes, India, hippie traveler. India, hippie traveler. India, nice. Hippie traveler. One more time. India, nice. Hippie traveler. Almost choral thing, right? It's so beautiful. I can see that in like Westminster Abbey. So that's the chorus. You do it twice, and make some noise if you've not been to India. Make some noise if you've been to India. Okay, that's not a very good way to judge how many people. Because people have been shout louder like that, and I'm sure there's a few of them. Just raise your hands if you haven't been to India. That is a much better way. Okay, great. So for those of you who haven't been to India, a few things be helpful to know so that this poem makes sense. Both spirituality and yoga are really big business in India. I mean, I know they're elsewhere, but in India it's part of the culture. Indians traditionally have a very sweet tooth. They really like things super, super sweet. and you have to be really careful about your masala chai, what type of chai you're getting. Because over here you get chai and you can add sweetness to it, but in India it comes as though somebody's put 10 things of sugar in it. And what else? The internet, it might have changed since I've been, but when I went there, the internet worked whenever it felt like it. You know, maybe today it'll work, maybe it won't. One thing that happens is a lot of kind of cool Western guys go over to India to learn, musicians, to learn sitar or the tabla, the traditional Indian instruments, from a proper master, so that they can come back to their countries and be in a fusion band. They'll be the cool guy in the fusion band playing the tabla, sitar. It's quite funny. And Indians have no social taboo against staring.
No.
Like obviously in England it's rude to stare, right? But in India, like that, like no shame at all. They just stare at you. And the extremes of weather. You know, you can be in desert and mountains, freezing cold mountains, and then the hottest jungle. You know, extremes of weather. And finally, one thing particularly about hippies traveling in India is that as a hippie you go and you experience the amazing culture, and you learn to wait 3 days for a train, and you learn to wipe your bum with your hand, and the right hand hopefully, and do all the dive into India, and you love it. But then after a while you go, I'm sick of waiting for everything going wrong, and everything I asked for being wrong, and like everything that have to take 10 hours, and you just go, I just want some Western stuff. So if you feel like that, you go to Goa, which is a little Portuguese place in Goa, which is basically like Ibiza. It's basically, so you leave Indian culture and you go, right, sun, sea, sex, sand, drugs, and rock and roll, and you go to Goa. So that's what a lot of people do. So hopefully that will make sense of home. And so that's it. So we'll start with the chorus. So I'll count us in and we'll do the chorus twice and then go from there.
India, hippie traveler. India, hippie traveler.
Son salutation, son salutation, son salutation, son salutation. Ashtanga yoga asana. Om Karananda Ashram and Ashkam Pranayam. Can't follow a guru. Om Karananda Ashram and Ashkam Pranayam. Can't follow a guru. Dana Vipassana, Dana Vipassana, Dana Vipassana, Dana Vipassana. 10 days sit, I'm sick of it. I'm going to Goa.
India, hippie traveler. India, hippie traveler.
Chillin' with a baba, puffin', chillin' with a baba, puffin', chillin' with a baba, puffin', chillin' with a baba. Om Namah Shivaya. Masala chai, no sugar, ginger, lemon, honey. I'll put in the honey. Masala chai, no sugar, ginger, lemon, honey. I'll put in the honey. No shit, the server's down. 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 I've got the squits. I'm sick of it. I'm going to Goa.
India, hippie traveler. India, hippie traveler.
So many pretty girls, God, there's just so many pretty girls. God, there's just so many pretty girls. God, there's just so many pretty girls. But some have really hairy legs. Allah, Krishna and Vishnu and Brahma, Parvati and Shakti, Ramana Maharshi. Allah, Vishnu and Krishna and Brahma, Parvati and Shakti, Ramana Maharshi. So many deities, so many devotees, so many deities, so many devotees. It's big business. I'm sick of it. I'm going to Goa.
India,
I was out of breath there, so you need to do it.
hippie traveler. India, hippie traveler.
Sitar on the tabla, learning sitar on the tabla, learning sitar on the tabla, learning sitar on the tabla. Or Panchakarma enema. Why don't you take a picture? Stop staring, it'll last longer. It's fucking mosquitoes. Why don't you take a picture? Stop staring, it'll last longer. This fucking mosquitoes. I don't need a tourist map. I don't want a taxi cab. I can't use your water tap. No, I'm not from Africa. You're taking the piss. I'm sick of it. I'm going to go out. India, hippie traveler. India, hippie traveler. Him Himalaya, him Himalaya, him Himalaya, him Himalaya. It's bloody freezing. Where's my socks? I've never been so happy, sweet lassie. Only 20 rupees. It's fucking amazing. I've never been so happy, sweet lassie. Only 20 rupees. It's fucking amazing. I could bum around forever, bum around forever, bum around forever, bum around forever. This is the perfect fit. I'm coming back in October. Now I want to do another poem. That one always gets me going. I love doing it. Okay, so I was going to say on a more serious note, not really. Someone asked Gandhi what he thought of Western civilization, and he said, "I think it would be a good idea." And I completely agree. And so, in agreement with the great man, I wrote a poem, which is kind of I usually style myself as a one-legged existentialist stand-up beat poet. And this is a one-legged existentialist stand-up beat poem and critique of Western civilization in the form of a spoof on the 10 o'clock news, and it's called the 10 o'clock brews. Have we got a microphone? It's much better with the mic this one. 1, 2, 1, 2.
No one can hear that, can they?
No. Oh, do we need some round of applause for Mike. Some can-do attitude, that's what we like to see. Round of applause for, what's your name?
Do you want a pedal time?
Victor from Perticat.
Look at that, instant power. This is all about empowerment.
Woo, the real thing. Thank you very much, Victor and Mike. Proper round of applause. Actually, it's my longest poem. Like, seriously, it is. It really is. Yeah.
I'll jump in.
Yeah, when you want to swap. You're surrounded by cuckoos. I don't think anyone's going to let you kill yourself on the bike. So that's better. Is this too loud now? How is this? How does that sound? Is it a bit loud? It's okay. So the 10 o'clock brews. Good evening. Welcome to the 10 o'clock brews. The condition's human. What are you going to do? Tonight, we confused humans will be reviewing the latest news of all the useless, abusive, and occasionally lucid choices chosen by humans when humans choose to do the crazy things that humans do while suffering from the human condition. Our schizophrenic Africa correspondent, Dikembe van de Puerta, reports from Lagos. Notina can second gloss over this. In Africa, things are turning to shit. But you must remember this is a tremendously complex business. And many foreign commentators have developed a terrible oversimplification of this. East past colonial Africa is cursed by poverty, starvation, corruption, and war. But all of these things were going on in Africa before. All I'm saying is that the problem is deeper than just the legacy of colonization and institutionalized racism. The problem was in the hearts and minds of the people as much as the geopolitical situation. Thank you, Dikembe. Worrying news there from the cradle of hominid migration. You're watching the 10 o'clock brews. The conditions, human. What are you going to do? Our Middle Eastern correspondent,
Zebediah Morphy Marley reports from Palestine. Greetings, brethren and sisters. One love to the conquered land of the tribe of Judah. Sources suggest that the political and military powers are they pretty fucking far from United Nations. Seek to dictate to the oil and heroin-rich nations of Islam. Sure. Through Machiavellian legislation, lobbied by multinational corporation, enforced by CIA operation, and leveraged by Israeli-Palestinian conflict negotiation procrastination. Meanwhile, some of Allah, Mullah, and Ayatollah seek a return to the days of female slavery by sanctioning pedophilia enabling arranged marriages daily, alongside head choppings and honor killings and school bus bombings in reaction to Israel's cuckoo's egg terrorism of is you is or is you ain't belonging. The Holy Land, but if you right, doing more and more wrong. Zebediah, more fire. Marley, 10 o'clock blues, West Bank. Now the news from the Middle East. A British soldier blown to bits in Basra by a baby-bound booby trap. Loves playing soldier so much, he can't wait to get patched up and go back. And in Iraq, a World Bank executive and loving father of 3 sociopath is caught carrying counterfeit corporate reconstruction economic debt traps. And in Afghanistan, the Taliban have now institutionalized long-bearded, Ramadan syncopated debt rape attacks. You're watching the 10 o'clock brews. The conditions, human. What are you going to do? Terrible reports there of more human cruelty and stupidity from the cradle of Western civilization. Here to tell us what's happening at home is Timothy, Oxford, Cambridge.
Well, Paradox Big News here, of course, is the viral voodoo voting cult of ritual public humiliation that makes the X Factor and Strictly Come Dancing such gripping entertainment. Just what the nation needs to keep its mind off its mortgage payments.
Yes, indeed, Timothy. How lucky we are to have Simon Cowell running this great nation. But tell me, any news of anarchy in the UK?
Well, today in Erith, a fat, lazy, binge-drinking, asbo-dodging chav happy slapped her way onto YouTube. And in Hackney, a masked gang of hoodies clashed in a stab-dem-man-dem UK rap, grime, garage, drum and bass dancehall fusion. And in Pretension, Central Hoxton, there's been another outbreak of vanity-driven, tediously superficial narcissism amongst affluent, middle-class, up-their-own-arse, smart-ass art students. The report suggests that super-rich, my wag's a bitch, spit-roast-loving professional footballers are disappearing up their own arse faster than Heat magazine reading, celebrity-obsessed, reality TV phoning callers. But unfortunately, the postmodern, countercultural, alternative, conspiracy hippie party have stated on their Facebook pages that they're still attempting to solve the problem at the same level of awareness at which it was created. That report from Timothy, Oxford, Cambridge. This seems to be really popping a lot. It is, isn't it?
I'm going to carry on, but without them. Oh, you're coming in the air. Sorry, clap them, yeah. Thanks, guys. Sorry, I didn't mean to diss your physiological, biological energy givings there, but it's just popping too much. It's doing my head in. Was it doing your head in? It was quite poppy, wasn't it? Yeah. Very poppy. Sorry about the recording, but we can trash that one. I've got loads of that. So Timothy Oxford, Cambridge. Timothy Oxford, Cambridge. Okay, yeah. I wonder if the new world has a solution to our old world solution. Randy, Alabama III, reports from the country with the world's highest prison population. Now, if a civilized society is judged by how well it treats the least of its people, then the United States of America is a civilization without equal. You see, we take our white trash, our spits, and our niggers, and I'll be damned if we don't house them, clothe them, feed them. Lord Jesus, we even preach to them. And it costs us hundreds of millions of dollars to run all these prisons we need to keep them in. You see, the United States of America is the world's largest consumer of drugs, junk food, pornography, and semi-automatic weapons. Hell, Hell, our fundamentalist religious elite are looking forward to Armageddon. Those motherfuckers reckon they're the only motherfuckers that's even going to heaven. But best of all, we have American television and the global irrelevance of the Hollywood metavision and its superstructure, the self-defeating fallacy of free market capitalism, which protects and serves the land of the free and the home of the brave. The United States of acute socio-economic division built on the backs of slaves. When indeed, but Randy, doesn't our paradoxical American addiction merely reflect the deeper contradiction at the heart of the human condition? Surely our absurd, death-denying death wish and habitually self-destructive self-delusion merely symbolizes the conundrum that defines the entire sweep of our cultural evolution. Hell no! Thank you, Randy. You're watching the 10 o'clock brews. The condition's human. What are you going to do? I'm joined now by satellite by Professor Roderick Dogma, a selfish gene advocate and chairman of the Royal Society of Atheists. Professor Dogma, what does science have to say about the human condition?
Well, first we have to jolly well get rid of this ridiculous God delusion. For God's sake, science has proven there's no need for God because God's job could accomplish solely by the process of evolution. All these primitive fools who believe in a higher power are just confused. We simply must stop teaching our children primitive superstitions which contradict scientific truth. Belief without supporting evidence is blind faith, and it makes me hit the roof. We must base our lives on proof, and when it comes to proof, science rules the roost.
Oh yes, it does, Professor Dogma, when you're referring to the world of physical matter. But in the psychological world of human experience, surely the materialist mold is shattered.
No, do try to keep up. Thoughts and feelings are merely epiphenomena. Only the physical is real. Consciousness is just neurons firing in the brain, as is everything we think, do, and feel.
With respect, Professor Dogma, aren't you guilty of confusing the facts for your opinion? Which is rather disingenuous given your claim to know truth's true dominion. Yes, science is the gold standard when it comes to measuring and manipulating physical reality, but the multiple dimensions of a human being are a complex, holistic plurality. So when the question is, how are we to live, or how can we fulfill our potential, scientific truth is superseded by truths that are paradoxical and existential.
Well, I suggest to you, Professor Dogma, that if somebody's delusional belief in God nevertheless helps them to be a kinder, more productive, collaborative and loving person, then your arrogant denunciation of faith, per se, begins to look like bigoted, narrow-minded aversion.
Well, I suggest to you, Professor Dogma, that your fundamentalist belief in atheism is not so different from that of a fundamentalist Muslim or Christian.
Well,
I'm sorry, Professor Dogma, but we're running out of time and I have to say goodbye. It seems there's more to the human condition than can be seen with a scientific eye. You're watching the 10 o'clock brews. The condition's human. What are you going to do? Finally tonight, I'm joined by non-dual philosopher poet and Rasta Zen master, Ja Roots Kobayashi. Master Kobayashi, what does Zen have to say about the human condition? Quite. The Tao that can be spoken is not the true Tao. That's very Zen. Indeed. That is very spiritually authentic, but it's not much fucking good for those of us who just don't fucking get it. Ow! That really hurt, Master. What'd you do that for? I get it. Life is suffering. Everybody suffers. But some don't suffer, they're suffering. They use it instead. They use it to learn, they use it to grow, they use it to love, they use it to inspire, and they use it to serve. Thank you for that kick up the arse, Master. You've been watching the 10 o'clock brews. If you're suffering from the human condition, we recommend you find a use. Because with all the suffering in the world, maybe that's the least we